Folks, good evening to you, one and all, and welcome to yet another round of our favorite series, the season 13, round number 5, Porsche Cup, and we're coming to you from Hungaroring, and that's going to make for some pretty interesting stuff. I'm pretty sure you're going to find that it's going to be a bit of a difficult run for some of the guys because, let's be honest, the vehicle that we're using, the Porsche Cup car, yeah, it's very, very tail happy. And if you climb just a little bit too hard on the gas, it just turns itself around. So you got to be very, very smooth on the accelerator. Much more power than what you can put down on these motor cars. The only Superman out there right now on the Grandmasters, the 172 of Sandro Bacari. Peter van der Spain not going to be joining us tonight as we've already entered 2 minutes 37 into the quali. He's out on a rally raid, a Porsche rally raid that he's doing, so he's not going to be joining us. So we'll have the likes of JJ van der Merwe in his MT's Unlimited 67 entry in green. We got Herman Lazarus in the cheapercars.co.za Porsche in blue. He always does blue. And we got Leon van Wyk in the Being IT entry based on white. We've got Timothy Stanton. Oh, that's a different one for Timothy Stanton. That's a lovely sticker job on that car. That's a full-on wrap. We got Stephen McCarthy, the Sujin Commercial Properties entry. It's been around right from the beginning. It was one of the companies that made it possible for us to get the right equipment together to get the right kind of picture out there for you. The 141 of Daniel Lamprechts. Sandro Bacari coming around to finish his... he's done a flying lap, so he'll probably be about the first person that's going to stick a lap time up. Let's see what kind of times we're doing here. Oh, Leon van Wyk. Leon van Wyk straight away goes to the top end of the log. Gerald Ferry says, where you going by? He goes the better part of a 147.8. That's 6/10 of a second that he goes quicker. That is a big gap there. Let's look at the gaps. Timothy Stanton provisionally up onto the second row of the grid with Sandro Bacari, our super senior. Then we've got JJ van der Merwe, 1.4 off the pace. Wow! The new kid on the block, Daniel Lamprechts, puts it in there. That is something else. And that by 1,000th of a second. He joins Gerald Ferrer on the front row of the grid, knocks Leon van Wyk and Timothy Stanton to the second row of the grid, which means that JJ... Let's put up a track map so we can see exactly where the guys are. That means that JJ gets relegated down to the third row on the outside alongside Andre Steenkamp. Or should I say just ahead of Andre Steenkamp, because that's 7th position. Graham Stephen for now in 8th, but the Marlboro car will not qualify in 8th. You better believe that's going to change. There's no doubt about it. Stephen McCarthy's done a 150. He's coming around to do another lap. He'll get another 2 laps in quite easily. See, Timothy Stanton's got a purple sector. Timothy Stanton works his way around. Is he going to be able to go a little bit faster? I pretty much think so. Timothy Stanton stays 7/10 off. Couldn't get any quicker with that one. I see Swayze Hubert is not in yet. There comes Herman Lazarus. The cheapercars.co.za entry. Oopsie, trying just a little bit too hard. He spun that way. As I said, these cars are very tail happy. If you get the hammer down too hard, it just swaps ends. And well, in the words of Peter van der Spain, that raced Porsches for many years at Killarney International Raceway, If your Porsche doesn't feel like it's going, like it wants to kill you, you're not riding it hard enough. So let's see how this one's going to play itself out. Leon van Wyk still on the second row of the grid. Graham Stephen is looking to be putting up some pretty decent times there. I'm pretty sure you're going to find Graham Stephen as he works his way around with a Marlboro car. I'm sure he's going to go quicker. 1.5 off the front end of the field. He was pretty much one of the quickest guys out there last week. Remember, we are in round number 5 in the Porsche Cup at Hungaroring. Let's have a look at that track map. That's what it looks like. 14 corners. And it looks like there's a whole bunch of straights. But if you ask the guys, they'll tell you there's not a lot of pieces where you can just get the hammer down and relax and do what you need to do. It feels like you're turning all the time. Coming through now, Graham Stephen is 1.5 off. How much closer can he get? Surprisingly enough, he's not going closer towards the front. So right now, 147.83 for that man, a 147.84 for that man. Then it's 4 tenths slower than that. That is a Leon van Wyk in the being IT entry. Then 2 tenths off that to a T. 2 tenths is Timothy Stanton. Then our super senior on the third row of the grid, Sandra Bakari, provisionally, with under 4 minutes to go. Lovely looking sticker work on these cars. Andre Steenkamp finds himself up onto the third row of the grid. So Andre Steenkamp has been out of it for a while, now back in the game. It's looking pretty good for him. He works his way around. JJ van der Merwe, 7th at this stage of the fight. Nobody's posting faster lap times at the moment. Where is Graham Stephen? Surely he's going to put in a flyer and he'll get closer towards the front end of the field. So 25 minutes it's going to be. However many laps we're going to get out of that one. Probably around about 15, I would guess, looking at a 147. And then the front half of the pack will be inverted. Let's hope that Swayze Hubert does pop in. See, he hasn't gone out of the pits yet. Maybe he's got some connectivity problems. As we run around with Graham Stephen. JJ van der Merwe is on his way around. He's on 7th position so far. Does he manage to go any quicker? He's 1.43 off. JJ van der Merwe not managing to go any quicker at this point. Gerald Fourie, the next man that's going to be coming through. He's just 1/1000th of a second to put himself on the opposite side of the grid. Daniel Lamprecht. Wow, what a qualifier. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant stuff. Leon van Wyk's gone into the pit lane. Timothy Stanton, he'll get to complete this lap. Sandra Bakari will also get to complete this lap. Andre Steenkamp, he should get to complete this lap as well. JJ van der Merwe, he will get one more lap in. It's going to be touch and go for Graham Stephen. It's going to be very much according to the clock for him to make it around in time to bump himself up from that 8th overall at the moment, ahead of Stephen McCarthy and Herman Lazarus. Swayze Hubert that has not been onto the track yet. There's Herman Lazarus. He'll get one more shot at it as well. He's 3 seconds off at the moment. Daniel Lamprecht, Gerald Fourie and Leon van Wyk literally to within 1400ths of a second. That's going to be one titanic struggle. There's no doubt about it. 16 seconds to go. Can JJ van der Merwe bump himself up as he comes around? JJ van der Merwe coming up towards the line. He's 1.4 seconds off. Nope, he stays that. Andre Steenkamp. Looks like he hasn't managed to go any quicker either. Herman Lazarus has gone through. He hasn't managed to go any quicker. What about Graham Stephen? Oh, he ran it pretty wide there. 10 seconds to go. I don't think he's going to make it. Remember I said it's going to be touch and go for him to complete another lap. 3 seconds. Oh, yeah, within not even a half a second. Can you believe it? And that means that Graham Stevens going to be having to start on the 4th row of the grid, and that's not what he's accustomed to whatsoever. Not at all. A man that is blindingly quick around the island. So there we go. Gerald Fourie and Daniel Lamprechts on the front end of the grid. Gerald Fourie will be super chuffed with that one. Then you've got Leon van Wyk and Timothy Stanton, the frequent flyers. The super seniors, Sandro Bakari. Andre Steenkamp, wow, very nice with the 46 car in that 6th position. And it's time to go racing. And Graham Stephen climbs out of the pack, and straight away we have a bit of an interesting situation that went down there as they came off the line. Down towards turn number 1 they go. It's Gerald Fourie that's going to be trying to have a look around on that outside line. He's got Daniel Lamprechts in there behind him. It's Leon van Wyk and Timothy Stanton has a look on the inside. Backs out of that one. Look at that group behind that. Stephen McCarthy in the Sujin Industrial Properties just ahead of JJ van der Merwe. JJ van der Merwe's got Graham Stephen on his outside. Graham Stephen will now be on the inside of the corner and will probably steal that one away. Yes, he does. Timothy Stanton's having a run at the front end of the pack. He's in there with Daniel Lamprechts, and he's all over the back end. And he dives up on the inside line of oopsie, and that's Lamprechts that spun it around. I don't think there was contact with anybody. I would like to think that there was not contact with anybody. Let's have a look, see exactly how that one played itself out. There's Daniel Lamprechts. I think there might have been just a little bit of contact with that one. Just tipping the back bumper as they went through. Let's go back to Leon van Wyk. I'd actually like to have another look at that replay. I think it was on the right-hand rear corner that there was that contact. So let's see if we can maybe pick that one up. This is the corner before the incident. Yeah, diving up on the inside, and you got that tip on the back bumper. So, yep, it was a light tip on the back bumper. It's always nice to... ooh, look at that, flying through the corner. Gerald Fourie from Leon van Wyk. In there, Stephen McCarthy in that 3rd, and then it's Graham Stephen from 8th position all the way up to 4th position already. He's made up 4 positions. Timothy Stanton, JJ van der Merwe, Super Seniors, Sandro Bakari, then it's Herman Lazarus, and in there is Andre Steenkamp. They had the problem to get it off the line initially, so he's going to be coming off the back end of the pack. Daniel Lamprechts has gone into the pits. Let's hope that he doesn't stay in there too long and he gets out as quick as possible, because he needs to get up into a top 6 position. He's just standing there. Oh, there he comes now. So Daniel Lamprechts, how long was he in the pits for? Well, let's say, how long was he standing? 12.4, that's, I suppose that's not too bad. I suppose that's pretty reasonable under the given circumstances. But let's go back to the action. It's Gerald Fourie. It's Leon van Wyk. Graham Stephen, all over his back bumper. Stephen McCarthy recovering. Timothy Stanton. Then it's JJ van der Merwe, and all over his back bumper is the super senior Sandro Bakari. Love to see him race at Killarney International Raceway. Sandro Bakari. Let's go on board with Sandro Bakari, lying in 7th position. Started in 5th. He's dropped down 2. Obviously been passed by Graham Stephen and Stephen McCarthy, as we ride on board with Sandro Bakari. A lot of camber on those front wheels. Beautiful sound of these Porsches. It's Just listen how he's got to ease the power in. Feels like it's taking light years to get the power in and down when you come out of the corner, but that is the only way that you can actually get these cars to turn, is to be nice and smooth on the accelerator. If you're too hard on the brake, it just understeers. If you dial in too much back brakes and then you brake and gear down and turn at the same time, it just pulls the back end around and you cannot pick up quick lap times at all. Sandro Bakari having a look. Oh, that was a bit of a lock-up. That was quite a big one, but he managed to hold on to that. So well done to Sandro Bakari. It looks like Andre Steenkamp has had an incident. Let's see if we can pick up that one for you. Comes over that blind rise. You can see the crane for the TV camera. See, exactly like that. It goes down an extra gear, and if you've got too much back brakes dialed in, that is exactly what happens to you back to the front end of the field. The Oracle Red Bull, yes, there's the Red Bull Formula One team have lost some of their one of their major sponsors. We're not going to go into that now, but go into the necessary pages. Go and have a look, see what's happening with the latest of Formula One. They did the reveal of all the cars last night, and it was all flash and lights and glitter and real Formula One style. Stefano Domenicali making a speech there, as well as Leon van Wyk in the being IT entry, works his way out into the front main. Leon van Wyk right in there. This is almost a replay of what we had last week, with two cars up front getting away from the rest of the pack and just applying the pressure on one another, trying to force an error. You don't get Gerald Fourie to make mistakes very easily. It would have been nice if Leighton could have joined us, but I believe Gerald's son Leighton is overseas with the racing at the moment. As we ride on board there with Leon van Wyk. Let's put up a track map that we can see exactly where they are. There's our two lead cars. They got long right-hander. Turn number 5. Short shoot, 4th gear, back down to 3rd, back down to 2nd. Nice and smooth through the kink underneath the Pirelli bridge. A little bit of understeer as he went through there, playing with that accelerator, trying to get the best out of it. And remember, he's got a bit of a gap behind him, not too much of a problem, but there comes the Marlboro car. Graham Stevens started in 8th, he's gone up all the way to 3rd position, so up 5 positions already for him. So let's wait until they get into the straight. Leon van Wyk, good evening to you. Pretty much a replay of what happened last week. Two guys at the front getting away, trying to force Gerald Fourie to make a mistake.
Going pretty flat out, trying to keep it tidy. Charles doing a pretty good job keeping the lead, yeah.
Gerald Fourie leading out once again. The pressure from Leon van Wyk behind you. A lot of accelerator control to ensure that this car doesn't swap ends on you on the exits of the corner.
It's more the understeer that's an issue rather than worrying about the rear end, to be honest.
To get rid of that understeer, if you dial in too much back brakes, I take it then it becomes a problem as well.
Yeah, it does, for sure. But you want to try and go as far to the back as possible.
I think we must not speak to the guys right now, because it's Leon van Wyk that's trying to have a look there and put the pressure on while we're talking to Gerald Fourie, saying, you concentrate on talking to the commentator, I'll concentrate on trying to get past you. In that 3rd position, it is Graham Stevens. Coming through behind that is JJ van der Merwe. Behind him is Sandro Bakari. There's a bit of a gap back to Stephen McCarthy, but now has Stephen McCarthy been in and out of the pits? Let's pick up that information for you. No, he has not. So Daniel Lamprecht Timothy Stanton and Andre Steenkamp have been in. There's 3 seconds between Timothy Stanton and Daniel Lamprecht. Now remember, Daniel Lamprecht got tapped on the right rear corner, and immediately, oh, that was a beautiful looking motor car that of Stephen McCarthy. Lovely sticker job on that. Probably a full-on wrap as we watch Stephen McCarthy as he works his way around. So a little bit of a tap on the back bumper there for Daniel Lamprecht. Turned himself around, went straight into the pits, and comes back out. Timothy Stanton finds himself a little bit further back. Stephen McCarthy has had an incident. Let's see if we can pick that one up for you, as we are live with Stephen McCarthy. Here we go. Stephen McCarthy in the Sujin Racing. Sujin Pro. Oh, that's what I was talking about when you hook a lower gear and brakes and try and rotate that car at the same time. It just gets away from you. I did predict around about 15 laps. That is the prediction according to the computer. 6 laps into it as we watch Stephen McCarthy. But let's go back to that front end battle. Look at that. Leon van Wyck's right in there. Nothing much between the two of them or whatsoever. Graham Stephen finds himself 5 seconds further back. Let's have a look at the last lap times. Graham Stephen on a 48.8. So he took the roundabout 3/10 out of... let's have a look at that one. In fact, Graham Stephen a 48.88 and a 49.2, so 4/10, and then 6/10 out of Gerald Fourie. Gerald Fourie has gone back to the front end of the pack. So Graham Stephen, the man that we're watching right now, Graham Stephen works his way out into the front main. Graham, 4/10 of a second you picked out of Leon, and 6/10 out of Gerald on the last lap. 6 laps to go, 7 laps maybe. Do you think you can still get to them?
It's my first few laps on the track. I didn't practice. This race is just about finding a groove, and hopefully in the next race I can give another shot.
Well, either way, a lovely third position that is in there right now for that man, Graham Stephen. So it looks as if we're going to... Let's go look at those pit stops. There we go. Leon van Wyck, it has been in and out of the pits, and he comes out ahead of Daniel Lamprecht. So Daniel Lamprecht did lose a fair amount of time, which is going to put him under a whole bunch of pressure. And I mean, he was right in the front row of the grid, was Daniel Lamprecht. So he's going to really battle with this one. He's probably going to end up around about 5th or 6th overall. And that means he'll probably be once again on the front row of the grid with all the other quickies directly behind him, if it's half of the field that's going to be inverted. So when does Graham Stephen come into the pits? Let's go and have a look. See, Gerald Fourie. Is he going to come in with the Oracle Red Bull Porsche? Is it time? Is it time? Yes, it is time. Gerald Fourie is going to go in. What about Graham Stephen? Here comes Graham Stephen. Will he follow suit? It looks like he's going to follow suit. JJ is going to follow. JJ follows in as well. Super Senior, Sandro Macari. Halfway through the race, lap number 8, he says this is the time. Look at that beautiful motor. I love those rims. Probably 21-inch rims that he's got on there with that beautiful looking sticker job on that motor car. Herman Lazarus is on his way through. Stephen McCarthy battled to get into the pits there. And Gerald Fourie is in. JJ van der Merwe is in. Graham Stephen has stopped as well. Who's going to be the first man to get out? It's going to be Gerald Fourie. He's going to be the first man. But Leon van Wyck has gone through already. There's Leon van Wyck. Leon van Wyck at the front end of the field. Can you believe it? What a battle. Now it's the opposite way around. It's going to be Gerald Fourie that's going to put the pressure onto Leon van Wyck. Graham Stephen in that third position all the way up from 8th. He's made up 5 positions, has Graham Stephen. Finds himself 10 seconds off Gerald Fourie. He'll be hoping that Gerald Fourie can make up that 1 second to Leon van Wyk. They will battle one another and slow one another up just a little. Sandro Bakari right there in the mix. JJ van der Merwe. Timothy Stanton, a bit lonely at this stage of the fight is Timothy Stanton. Daniel Lamprechts. Andre Steenkamp, there he comes through. 10 seconds behind him will be Stephen McCarthy. Right behind him is Herman Lazarus. And Swys Joubert. Unfortunately, we have not had a chance to see Swys at all. As we go back to Leon van Wyk. Oh dearie me, now the pressure's on for Leon. Let's check once they get out into the straight. Leon van Wyk on his way out into the front main. Leon, the hunter, is now the hunted.
That'd be right. I might have short field, but we'll see.
So was it taking on a shorter pit stop that swapped the positions between yourself and Gerald?
Yeah, absolutely. But I put in less fuel. I just hope I put enough in.
We're not going to
saving
ask.
a bit behind
We're
Gerald.
not going to ask Gerald about his opinion on whether you've got enough fuel in there or not. Let's leave the guys to concentrate on what they're doing. It's Graham Stephen that's 10.9 seconds, so he's not really catching up to them. But Sandro Bakari's on the move. Sandro Bakari's decided he wants to get a whole bunch closer, and he's really opening the taps up. Sandro Bakari, the only super senior out there. Leonardo said earlier on, unfortunately he's not going to be able to join in tonight. I think he's traveling. I think he actually stays in Italy or Ireland or Portugal or somewhere. He's not in South Africa. And then I think Robbie Teens will be joining us pretty soon, somewhere along the line as well. The original comeback kid, Robbie Teens, will be great to have him back in the series as well. Lap 9 of 15, everybody has done their pit stops. Let's have a look at the last times. Who's the movers and groovers out there? 48.3. Well, we'll wait to see how Gerald Fourie pans out for this one, because that time that's up there still shows in and out of the pit lane. As they work their way around, we'll see how those lap times are going to come through. Leon van Wyk's got a lovely view. 148.4, a 147.7. Wow, Gerald Fourie. Graham Stephen comes up across the line. A 49 and a 49. So Graham Stephen, Sandro Bakari on the same pace. JJ van der Merwe and Timothy Stanton on a flyer. A 48.36. That makes Timothy Stanton the fastest man on the last lap out there. That was blindingly quick. A 148.36. And that is in fact the fastest lap of the race. A 148.36. No, sorry, I lie. A 147.99 by Leon van Wyk is the fastest lap so far. Coming up to the finish, lap number 9 as we ride on board with Timothy Stanton in there behind JJ van der Merwe. But look at that, Sandro and Graham in the sights there as well. So gingerly on that accelerator. Not taking any chances whatsoever is Timothy Stanton. Can he put up another fastest lap with 5 to go? He's closing on the back of JJ. Sandro is also within a half a second of the back of Graham Stevens. So a commendable effort there by Sandro Bakari. And Gerald Ferry is also right onto the back now of Leon van Wyk. As we said, the hunter has now become the hunted. As we ride on board. Quite a bit of rake on that rear wing, trying to get as much downforce as possible. Let's see, where's our Jalen Blimp? Right upstairs is our Jalen Blimp. See the spinning pitch there, well, shall I say the skid pad that's there on the infield. And that's our two leaders, Leon van Wyk, the being IT entry, and Gerald Ferry directly behind him. Now visually, there's the rest of the pack. It's Graham Stephen, it's Sandro Bakari. The green one that you see there is JJ van der Merwe. It's Timothy Stanton directly behind that. Daniel Lamprechts, after that incident that he had, finds himself in 7th. Now, Daniel Lamprechts, if he stays in 7th position, is not going to be at the front of the grid on the invert. And that's going to be a problem for him. So right now, Daniel Lamprechts has got a whole bunch of pressure. Because if you take, there was 10 cars, the top 5 will then invert, which means Sandro Bakari and JJ van der Merwe would then be, if they stay the way they are on the front row of the grid. And that would be interesting to see how does Sandro play that one out, diving towards the inside. Gerald Ferry decides is going to follow him through. Really nothing much in it. Sandro Bakari. Has he decided it's time to go for the move? Nope, he's not close enough. Look at that one. Graham Stevens says, just in case you're thinking of going around the inside. And at the same time, JJ van der Merwe is creeping closer. JJ van der Merwe is loving this. Let's wait till they get out into the straight. JJ van der Merwe, find yourself in the middle of the sandwich. Sandro and Graham starting to slow one another down. But you're also being caught by Timothy Stanton from behind.
Correct, yes. It's a bit difficult here in the middle. I'm like a salami in the Italian sandwich.
The MT's Unlimited Green Machine being haunted by the Stanton car from behind as the two of them are on their way to go and fetch the back end of Sandro Bakari. Graham Stephen is not going to give that one away whatsoever. They are 12 into the 15 laps and Graham Stephen could easily drop down 4 positions if something had to go wrong. So he's got to be very, very careful what he does, because there's Sandro, there's JJ, and there's Timothy behind that. The slightest mistake with a Tag Heuer Marlboro car could mean that it drops right down, and then on the invert will be dropped down as well, that he will not make the invert grid, and that'll put him into the back half of the pack for the start of race number 2. 13 of the 15 laps that is done. JJ is getting ever closer. This could be a shootout of note. Look at this. JJ trying to get that slipstream from Sandro. Sandro is in there behind Graham. So trying to get that double slipstream, and slowly but surely. Oh, he sticks it up on the inside line. Sandro Bakari, is he going to take the chance? Graham Stephen cannot afford to have any contact. This is going to cost him. And Sandro dives towards the inside. Make sure he doesn't make contact between the two of them. That is brilliant piece of driving, that. Graham Stephen, it looks quite fine in front of him, but look behind him. That's what he sees behind him. With that number 13 of the 15 laps, as we keep an eye on Graham Stephen. Oh, Timothy Stanton pushing it hard. Oh, Daniel Lamprechts is coming into the game as well. Daniel Lamprechts. Look at the view that he's got. He'll be saying, oh, if only there was just a couple more laps. Just a smidgen more, that's all I need. And I can go and join this group. All 4 of them, line astern. It's only Leon van Wyk and Gerald Fourie that has gotten away. Now, if you think that there's going to be an invert, that means those 4 cars that you see in front of Daniel Lamprecht could be either 5 or 6 of them. Timothy, JJ, Sandro, and Graham is all going to... Ooh! That was touch and go. That was touch and go. As the leaders have already worked their way through, they will be on the white flag. Listen to that, just playing with the accelerator, short shifting so that it doesn't spin itself around. But I think it's time for us to go and have a look at that front end. Oh, mistake! A mistake, and Gerald Fourie goes back to the front. Leon van Wyk. And they did say the problem is that the front end drifts away. Oh, dives it out for that inside line. They duking it out. Let's just hope that they don't make any contact. It's been an amazing battle between the two of them. Gerald Fourie from Leon van Wyk. And there's nothing in it. There's nothing in it between the two of them. Are we going to follow that battle of the leaders as they work their way through the last half of the lap? It's going to be an amazing tussle right down to the line. Look at that. Leon van Wyk's he's going to try something somewhere. What is he going to try? He's got to do it. And at the same time, Sandra McCarthy is all over the back of Graham Stephen. It's JJ van der Merwe, it's Timothy Stanton, but Leon van Wyk is running out of options. Leon van Wyk is running out of options. They're being IT entry. Oh, they make contact, but luckily nothing goes wrong. And Leon van Wyk even got the tail end a little bit loose with that one, and he managed to hold it all together. Coming up towards the line, and Leon tries to dive up on the inside, but it's going to be Gerald Fourie. It's going to be Gerald Fourie to the line from Leon van Wyk. Brilliant stuff. Utterly brilliant. From 8th position all the way up to 3rd. It's Graham Stephen with super senior Sandro Bakari in there behind him. Sandro's going to try and do a late apex. Nope, he can't pull that nose around. It's going to be Graham Stephen from Sandro Bakari. From JJ van der Merwe. From the recovering Daniel Lamprecht. Timothy Stanton has gone straight back into the pit lane. So the next man coming through will be Andre Steenkamp. What a lovely race. Brilliant stuff. 16 seconds back will be the Sujin Properties entry. He'll come through to take the line. And then another 10 seconds back will be Herman Lazarus. He just cruises across the line and says, "Ay, mense, ek is moeg." And Herman Lazarus comes across the line as well. Well, that was race number 1. And there's the results. Hey, sorry, that's the qualifying. I was going to say, that one doesn't seem to make sense. Gerald Fourie from Daniel Lamprecht was the front row of the grid. From Leon and Timmy, Sandro and Andre Steenkamp. So that was the quali. Let's have a look at the overall results for heat number 1. There we go. Leon van Wyk comes through at the front end of the field with the being IT entry. Why does Gerald Fourie drop so far down? Did we miss something? That surely has to be an error because they were one behind the other. So I'm not sure why Gerald Fourie shows up in 7th position. He should actually be there in 2nd. Don't know why the computer's done that. So 3rd then would be Graham Stephen. He had Sandro Bakari, JJ van der Merwe, and Daniel Lamprecht. That's 100% correct. Andre Steenkamp, Stephen McCarthy, Timothy Stanton, Herman Lazarus, and Swayze Hubert. I personally think there's something not right with that result there. Let's maybe see if we can find out. Gerald Fourie, you just had a looking now at the way that the standings is, and it's actually showing you as 7th position, although you did end in 2nd. Any idea why?
I must have gotten off track somewhere. Must have gotten off track somewhere in the last sector. I wasn't watching my off tracks, to be honest. I wasn't watching my X's.
So you think it might be a 30-second penalty?
Yeah, must be.
Oh dearie me, that turns things completely upside down. So seeing that there was 10 entries out there, I take it, Leon, that we're going to invert the top 5?
Not sure what Luke set it up with, but it's probably top 6.
Top 5 or top 6. So top 6 would put Andre Steenkamp and Daniel Lamprechts on the front row of the grid, with JJ van der Merwe and super senior Sandro Bakari on the second row, and then Graham Stephen and Leon van Wyk on the third row of the grid. That means that with Gerald Fourie probably getting 1x too many there, that means he would start in 7th position. Wow, that's going to be... Although that means that him and Leon are going to fight their way all the way through the pack. We're going to go off air for 45 seconds, and we'll come back to you with race number 2. Well, think of this one. Top 8 is reversed. Now that is going to be something else. If the top 8 is going to be reversed, that means that it's going to be a completely different scenario. Sports and GT, round 5, season 13, Hungaroring Porsche Cup cars is what we are using. Let's have a look at that grid with the top 8 invert. Stephen McCarthy. Oh my goodness. Pressure, pressure, pressure. He's got Andre Steenkamp in there behind him. Daniel Lamprechts this time starting off the second row of the grid. That's going to be brilliant stuff as we get them off the line, and let's see who's going to get the break going down towards turn number 1. It's Daniel Lamprechts that's going to be going. Oopsie, there we go. There goes Daniel Lamprechts. He's going to try and make a move on Stephen McCarthy. Sandro Bakari's right in there as well. Daniel Lamprechts is trying to go 3 abreast right around the outside of Stephen McCarthy. Some sparks coming out the bottom of a Stephen McCarthy's car. Timothy Stanton finds himself in the middle of the pack. But it's Gerald Fourie that started on the front end. Oh, Graham Stevens in there. Now you're going to see Battle Royal. Graham Stevens going one-on-one with the likes of Gerald Fourie. Where is Leon van Wyk? Leon van Wyk is in that 4th position. He'll need to get through there as quick as he possibly can. But then again, Stevens not slow at all. He's going to have to push hard. Oopsie, that looked like Herman Lazarus that went wide at the back of the pack. That was behind JJ van der Merwe. Yep, JJ van der Merwe is in there as they work their way through. Gonna be some lovely footage we're going to be able to pick up from this one. Look at that. All of them flying through there. Herman Lazarus bringing up the tail end of the field as they come towards us. Gerald Fourie, Graham Stevens, Stephen McCarthy, Leon van Wyk, Daniel Lamprechts, and it looks like McCarthy's having a look up on that inside line. McCarthy wants to make the move. Nice and smooth through there. Stephen McCarthy. Ooh, he got the tail end wagging. And look at that, it's Graham Stephen and Gerald Fourie. The two of them are side by side. Oh, they make contact as well. Let's hope that both of them get through. Gerald Fourie sits in the middle of the track. The Marlboro entry goes sideways as he just gets the hammer down a little bit too much. And Stephen McCarthy is going to make use of that one. While Stephen McCarthy is making use of that, Leon van Wyk says, I'll go right around the outside. Graham Stephen closes it off and right around on that outside line. Oh, what a pity. Graham Stephen just outbraked himself with that one. Comes in behind Timothy Stanton and just ahead of Sandro Bakari. But look at the battle. Stephen McCarthy having the race of his life. Brilliant stuff by Stephen McCarthy in that 2nd position. I would actually like to speak to Stephen McCarthy now, but he's in 2nd. We're not going to take his concentration away. As Leon van Wyk is right in there behind him. Leon van Wyk's putting the pressure down. The Sujin Properties entry, Stephen McCarthy. Nice and smooth, but look at that gaggle of cars behind that. Trying to get back into it again is Graham Stephen. Daniel Lamprecht is right in there as well. They both in behind it. Timothy Stanton. Let's go on board there with Graham Stephen. Let's see how it looks from inside that motor car. Using the whole track and a bit more. He knows that Daniel Lamprecht has got the out and out speed. Oh, Leon van Wyk on Stephen McCarthy. Down to a tenth of a second. But he got to him at the wrong point. There wasn't a chance to actually get past Stephen McCarthy. Just a little bit off the pace of Gerald Ferry. But not that far off that he can get past at this stage of the fight. He's got to close that inside line. He's done a late apex. That's a beautiful piece of driving. That's a beautiful piece of driving by Stephen McCarthy. Look how he pulled out a car length there. He might have to go and protect that inside line because Leon van Wyk's on the move. Gerald Ferries has put up the fastest lap time. As looking at it, and I said he should close off that inside line. He's going to have to turn it very tight to ensure that they do not make any kind of contact. And Leon van Wyk gets past Stephen McCarthy. Into the pits is Graham Stephen. Into the pits is Daniel Lamprecht as well. So they're going for the early pit stop. Gerald Ferry. Let's get a track map and a battle box up there that we can see a whole lot more of the action. Gerald Ferry's got a bit of space now because Leon van Wyk is 3 seconds behind him. There comes Super Senior Sandro Bakari, Timothy Stanton, Herman Lazarus. Herman Lazarus is right up into that 4th position and putting the pressure on. Man, oh man, what a nice ride by Herman Lazarus. To hold on to Timothy Stanton, you got to go some. You really have to. Andre Steenkamp just a little bit further back. Took a little bit too much curbstone there. He's got Stephen McCarthy in there behind him. And then JJ Vanamava. So, of the fellows that have been into the pits, it is Daniel Lamprecht that finds himself ahead of Graham Stephen. I hope Graham Stephen's not going to get stuck in the pits at all. Oh, it's already a minute and 13 seconds. So I think we might have lost out in real terms on Graham Stephen in this one. Let's see what happened with Stephen McCarthy. Tries to turn it right around. Let's have a look at the let's have another look at that one over Stephen McCarthy. Yep, it was light contact on the back bumper of Stephen McCarthy. That is what made the difference there and created that he went around. Gerald Ferry, Leon van Wyk, Sandro Bakari, Timothy Stanton, Herman Lazarus, Andre Steenkamp, all pretty much the same distance apart from one another. JJ Vanamava, Daniel Lamprecht, the next man that's going to be coming through there, but he's been in and out of the pits, as has Stephen McCarthy. So even though he's had that off, Stephen McCarthy is second on track of the people that have been in and out of the pits. Let's have a look at those gaps. There you can see what the gaps are. And there is the intervals. So let's take away those pit stops. Let's have a look at the gains and the losses as a whole. Leon van Wyk 6 positions up. Timothy Stanton and Herman Lazarus 5 positions up. But remember, there's 2 people that have been in and out of the pits, and we've lost out on a Graham Stephen as well. So that explains that part of it. A 147.7, a 148.53 on the last lap for Leon van Wyk. Timothy Stanton is on the move once again, a 48.15. So he was the fastest man on the last lap. 1.9 seconds behind Sandro Bakari. third in class. Fourth overall is Timothy Stanton. Completely different kind of wrap he's got on that Porsche Cup car. 5 laps into the 15, you'll probably find on lap 7 or lap 8 the balance of the cars will go into the pits. Andre Steen comes 3 positions down, JJ is 2 positions down. Stephen McCarthy's gone a long way down, not a good one for him, but he has been in and out of the pits already, and he got that tip on the back bumper that turned him around, and that was a big factor for him at that point. But faultless Gerald Fourie. Can Leon van Wyk catch up to him? Let's have a look at the last lap times. 47.7 and a 48.5. So Gerald Fourie looking very strong at the moment now. Comes through the second last corner. Let's see how those new lap times are going to pan out. Short shifting as he comes through there. A 47.765 hundredths of a second difference. A 48.21. Sandra Bakari, a 48.8. Timothy Stanton, a 48.9. Herman Lazarus, a 150.98. Oh, Andre Steenkamp's come into the pits. Let's see what it looks like as you come down that pit lane. That was Graham Stevens' car. You saw that was parked there. And now you wait. And you wait. And you wait. And you die just a little bit. And eventually you can get the power on. And the pit limiter kicks out. You've got to stay on the right hand side of that white line. Down to first gear. You've got to be so careful with new tires. If they've got new tires on with that first gear scenario, as we ride on board with Andre Steenkamp. You see a lot of short shifting on the more dangerous spots, if you want to call it that. So Daniel Lamprecht, the leader of everybody that has been in and out of the pits. And Leon van Wyk and Sandro Bakari are not that far from one another anymore. There you can see between the two of them. Sandro Bakari with Timothy Stanton in there behind him. With Leon van Wyk's coming to the pits. Leon van Wyk is into the pits, and that means the likes of even Herman Lazarus and JJ van der Merwe is going to be coming past him. He'll be dying 1,000 deaths as he's sitting there, waiting. There eventually he gets going now. So Leon van Wyk, it looks like he's going to come out of the guys that have been in and out of the pits. Leon van Wyk is the leader right now. But how will it pan out when Gerald Fourie comes in? That's going to be the decider. Leon van Wyk / Gerald Fourie. That's the battle royal. We're on lap number 7. So probably find at the end of this lap Gerald Fourie is going to be coming in. There's Gerald Fourie. Sandro Bakari in second position. Brilliant. Timothy Stanton. Stanton Racing Team. The son of Roly Stanton. Roland Manifolds. Sold the business recently, his Uncle Roly. Decided it's time to go on pension and enjoy the latter years. Timothy Stanton, a man that owns an accounting company. Likes to travel abroad, as does the likes of Stephen McCarthy. And into the pit lane comes Gerald Fourie. Into the pit lane comes Sandro Bakari. Into the pit lane comes Timothy Stanton. What about Herman Lazarus? Herman's going to come in and he's going to bring JJ with him as well. So the lead vehicle of those that have been in and out is Leon. And we wait to see, can Leon get ahead of Gerald? Gerald's starting to move. Gerald's starting to move. Where is Leon? There comes Leon van Wyk. Where's Gerald Fourie? Oh, Gerald Fourie going to take it by the proverbial mile from Leon van Wyk. Who's going to be the next man coming out? It's going to be Sandro Bakari. In there behind him is going to be Timothy Stanton. See, JJ just stopped there now as well with Herman Lazarus in there behind him. So that's going to make for some very interesting stuff going forward. That's for sure. We'll see how that one's going to play itself out. So, as we said, the top 8 were inverted for this one. And that makes for pretty interesting viewing for us. Because that's exactly what we want to see when you just turn it up and turn it upside down. Gerald Fourie up, dust, and disappear. Even the likes of Leon van Wyk can't hold on to him at the moment. Super senior Sandro Bakari with Timothy Stanton in there behind him. Timothy 4th overall in the race, and in there behind Sandro Bakari. Being the super senior, is it worth putting it all on the line just to beat him out there on circuit if you're not fighting for the same points?
It's really on the line. That's what the air for. Not against Sandro, you know. It's an old dog. He knows what to do.
So you think it's a boy thing? You got to beat Sandro Bakari.
You've got to beat every other driver, otherwise what's the point of being here?
Awesome stuff. There we go. Timothy Stanton saying, I'm going to do this one. In there behind him is Daniel Lamprecht. Bit of a lonely race for Daniel because he's got 6 seconds on Andre Steenkamp, who's got 4 seconds on Herman Lazarus. Ooh, Stephen McCarthy closing down. Stephen McCarthy is closing down on Herman Lazarus. He's got to keep an eye on JJ that's in there behind him. JJ van der Merwe won't be too happy with this one. He finds himself a long way down. It's not where he wants to be. Oh, it looks like Gerald Fourie had a bit of an off. That was just purely track limits. And that was what made the difference earlier on for Gerald Fourie. I think he got a 30-second penalty right on the end. And that's probably where the differentiation came into it, where he should have been second and dropped out of the top 6, in fact, with that one. So that was not so nice for him, unfortunately, but such is motorsport. It is what it is. Unfortunately, we have lost out on Graham Stephen. I think he was involved in some form of contact, and he's decided to park it in the pits. He's not going to go any further from there as we watch the battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th. It is the closest battle out there right now. Herman Lazarus, Stephen McCarthy, and JJ van der Merwe. As we watch that battle, Herman Lazarus from Stephen McCarthy and JJ van der Merwe. That is the closest battle that is happening out there on circuit right now. The rest of the guys having opened up quite a bit. Well, talking about opening up, Gerald Fourie, he's opened up the gap big time. He's doing it all right. There comes being IT entry. Oh, I'd love to see Leon van Wyk and Gerald go one-on-one again. There was an enthralling little incident that Sandro Bakari from Timothy Stanton. Daniel Lamprecht, a lonely position there. 6 seconds ahead of him and 6 seconds behind him. We're on lap number 10 with Andre Steenkamp. Also finding himself in no man's land. Nobody in front, nobody behind. coming down underneath the Rolex bridge. There's that three-way battle we spoke about. Stephen McCarthy, Herman Lazarus, and JJ van der Merwe. I love the look of that Sujin Properties car. Ooh, closing up Herman Lazarus. Herman Lazarus putting the pressure on big time. I think he realizes that JJ is starting to get very confident behind him, knowing that he can quite easily stay there on the pace. Nothing much between them. 18.5 minutes into this one. And Timothy Stanton is closing on the back end of Sandro Bakari. Taking quite a wide entry, a late apex. Let's have a look at their lap times. Sandro 48.8, 48.5, 3/10. As I said, he was closing. I didn't realize it was that much. Let's have a look at the pit lane times while we got a second. 45, 40.5, 38.9, 39. Not a lot in it, but Leon van Wyk, the quickest man in and out of the pits, and I think that does always make a difference. Easiest way to make up a full second, just get in and out of the pits a whole bunch quicker. Remember, that is your total time in the pit lane. So from the time that you go over the line where the pit lane limiter comes in till where you go over the line where the pit lane limiter goes off, that is that recorded time that I was just showing there now. Talking about showing, JJ van der Merwe is showing his bumper to the back end of Herman Lazarus. As I said, Herman Lazarus will be feeling the pressure, because JJ is getting more and more confident, closing up closer and closer, studying the lines of the cars in front of him. 11 laps of the possible 15 that's down already. And if anything, it's going to be JJ van der Merwe that's going to try and make a move on Herman Lazarus. Earlier on, 2 laps back, if you had to look at it, you would have said Herman Lazarus is going to have a move on Stephen McCarthy, but it didn't actually work out that way. It wasn't what we expected. Timothy Stanton on Sandro Bakari. As he said, got to be in it to win it. Doesn't matter what class the man is, you want to beat the man in front of you. Sandro going slightly towards the middle of the circuit. Timothy Stanton in there hard and deep. Sandro will pull away as they come out of the corner. Bit of a concertina effect on that. 6/10 between them. Two completely different lines that they went in there. Timothy Stanton's pushing very, very hard under braking, trying to make up that extra little smidgen of ground, trying to make it stick. Sandro's giving nothing away for free at this stage of the fight. Sandro's going to come up with probably a 3rd overall in this one. There you go. That is how it played out in race number 1. Sandro Bakari had a 3rd position in race number 1. He has a 3rd position here again, and once again only Leon van Wyk and Gerald Ferry that's managed to beat out on the Super Seniors. We're right on board with Timothy Stanton, but I think it's time for us to go and have a look at that JJ van der Merwe Herman Lazarus battle. MT's Unlimited Green Mean Machine, a 67 Porsche Cup car entry. As he works his way around, short shoot, hard onto the brakes, turn it in as you've gone through underneath the Emirates Bridge, now underneath the Heineken crossover. Take that left-hander, sweep it across to the left-hand side, decide where you want to apex. Oh, he ran it very deep and it just got squiggly underneath him. Not easy to catch it from that position. Look at the amount of camber that he's got on those wheels. Quite a bit of camber. Lap number 13 with JJ van der Merwe in there behind Herman Lazarus. Oh, when he locks it up, Herman Lazarus. Too hard, too deep, and he has an off track. Let's have a look at that one from a driver's point of view with Herman Lazarus that went there off the circuit. This was a previous one. So that was outside of track limits. Let's just make sure. Yep, that's outside of track limits. And then when we had JJ van der Merwe gets to that position, puts the pressure on, and he makes that one stick, and he closes right up to within 6, 7, 8 car lengths initially of Stephen McCarthy, while Timothy Stanton goes right around the outside line trying to get the run on a late apex. Oh, and he brushes the wall. He's trying every trick in the book, Timothy Stanton. There you see the white flag. That was the white flag that you saw there. I see Graham Stephen is back out on circuit. Yep, Graham Stevens made it back out on circuit. But it's all about this man, Gerald Fourie. Gerald Fourie heading for yet another victory. Gerald Fourie, your thoughts as you navigate the last half of the last lap, leading it out by a very comfortable 3.5 seconds.
Yeah, this car's a handful. Not so much the rear, but it's so much understeer. It's tough.
Well, we'll keep
so
an eye.
careful of not having the over understeer issue.
And it seems to get away pretty quickly.
Under oversteer, should I say?
Yeah. But it seems like when it gets, so if the back end gets away, you can sort of kind of catch that. Either way, congratulations on that one. He's coming through with just 3 more corners to go. It's all about the Oracle 11 Porsche Cup car that leads them around. Leon van Wyck's close to within 2 seconds as they go towards the line. And that's how they're going to complete this one. One more corner. He'll rotate that Oracle Porsche Cup car and take it across the line. Gerald Fourie, Leon van Wyk, Super Senior, Sandro Bakari. Well done, Sandro, ahead of the high-flying Timothy Stanton. Daniel Lamprecht in a lonely 4.9 seconds further back. Andre Steenkamp, great to have him back out there and racing again. He'll come through under the Aramco Bridge. Finishes off his race. Stephen McCarthy in that beautiful Sujin Properties car from JJ van der Merwe. And Herman Lazarus had a very good race by Herman Lazarus, I must say. That was pretty very good by Herman Lazarus. So let's have a look-see with the feature race. There we go. Gerald Fourie from Leon van Wyk. So let's have a look at heat number 1. Leon van Wyk from Graham Stephen. And Gerald Fourie would have been in second. So I'm going to give the hard luck trophy for tonight to Gerald Fourie, because he was in second, and somewhere on the last lap he picked up what appears to probably be a 30-second penalty that drops him right down. So definitely the hard luck trophy for the day will then go to Gerald Fourie. And Leon van Wyk, brilliant. I think Leon van Wyk must be driver of the day, because Leon van Wyk is really in amazing form. And we should actually give driver of the day to Sandra Bakari as well, We should actually give driver of the day to Daniel Lamprechts that managed to qualify on the front row of the grid for race number 1. So, yeah, there's just so many people that have done so well. You pick out your favorites from that one, and, well, I think it was utterly brilliant. Season 13, round number 5, Porsche Cup from Hungaroring, as we bring that one to a close. Next week will be round number 6 at a track with a car still to be determined. From my side, Gary Fleming from Second Gear Productions, thanks very much for joining us. And I look forward to seeing you next week, same time, for Season 13, round number 6 for Masters and Grandmasters. Cheers, everybody.